She believed that she had these dreams to rationalize. I mean, that's just like
years, specifically within the church,
experienced it.
And I can completely agree and sympathize, but if you're...
She keeps these things. This is psycho. The cops told me after I didn't...
Everyone, it's Mel, aka Baby Girl. And we are back finally again. I know it's been a while. I haven't been here and I apologize. But I'm here now and I have tried to record this video now for the 4th time. But today, this time, I feel like it's gonna work out. But this is a very serious video and I'm reacting to one of my favorite YouTubers, Adam MCINTYRE. By the way, if you see this, Adam, I love you. So I want to react to him reacting to the news broadcast of JODI HILDEBRANDT'S niece speaking out after the guilty plea. Now, I have been following this case myself since the very beginning, but I haven't really done a video on it because I just didn't really feel like it was appropriate. But at this time, I do, because JODI HILDEBRANDT'S niece speaking out goes to show that, you know, I went through bad manipulation with a person in my life who ended up really harming me in a lot of different ways because of her severe manipulation tactics and her abuse. And so I'm not that I can relate completely to what JODI HILDEBRANDT'S niece has to say, but somewhat I do feel for her, and I would like to watch what her... Now, stay till the end, though, because at the end of the video, she tells what she would want to tell JODI HILDEBRANDT if she got a chance to be in front of her face-to-face. And that, to me, is so important, because I also would like to know that. But also, I feel like it's very brave and it's very strong of JODI HILDEBRANDT'S niece to come on her platform or other people's platforms, just like the podcast that she came on, the Mormon podcast at first, when she was first exposing JODI HILDEBRANDT for abusing her as well. So let's watch. Anna, you're so cute.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing well. Okay, today is, we're talking about JODI HILDEBRANDT again, and JODI HILDEBRANDT's amazing niece, Jessie. Now, Jessie has spoken up before.
The video didn't record, I gotta do it again.
About what JODI HILDEBRANDT put them through, and it is absolutely terrifying, and the stuff is so disturbing.
Now, that's a point that I wanted to also address. JODI HILDEBRANDT'S niece, Jessie HILDEBRANDT's pronouns are they, them. So just so that, keep that in mind.
Jessie actually tried to flee from JODI many times, and you know, they would always be ultimately unsuccessful because JODI would end up finding them, and then they...
That's another thing that really bothers me. Sorry to keep pausing, but that's another thing that really bothers me, is that, you know, people will be abusing their children horribly, and the cops or the authorities, for that matter, like the schools and things like that, do nothing about it, right? Then you have cases like mine, which was a really stupid reason for anything to happen, and it happened. But then there's cases like this where this poor girl is really out there struggling and fighting to get someone to help her, and no one's helping her. Why? Because she looks white and privileged, and like she's just acting, you know, crying wolf. It's just sad.
After JODI found them, and there's something really crazy about the fact that JODI HILDEBRANDT has had this pattern of behavior with so many other people's children, but has also done it with her own family members. And again, we are in the important stage right now of JODI HILDEBRANDT and Ribby Frankie's sentencing, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm seeing a lot of people online kind of putting all the blame onto Ribby Frankie rather than JODI HILDEBRANDT, and these women are equally responsible.
That is so true. Everything is being put on Ruby, but if you think about it, JODI HILDEBRANDT is the ringleader because she's been doing this 4 years. Now, I'm not taking any blame off of Ruby. Ruby deserves everything she's getting 100%, if not more. I agree with that. But I'm just saying that you can tell that Jodi Hildebrandt set the tone, if you will, for the actions that happened after her becoming affiliated with the Connections thing, and with Jodi Hildebrandt herself being the counselor to her family.
But also, the reason I wanted to talk about this and watch this is another interview that Jessie Hildebrandt, the niece, has done, because I want to continue raising awareness for the fact that, yes, Ruby Franke is the famous one of them two, and she's the well-known one of the two, but Jodi Hildebrandt, even though she may not be the family channel that we all know, even though she may not be the quote-unquote famous one, or the one that gets clicks on views or clicks in headlines, it's important to continue talking about what she has done to her own even family members. And that's not even considering what she's done to other people's kids, because public favor really does hone in, and it is a really important thing about these lawsuits and getting people talking and people, voicing their opinions and letters of support for the victims involved here. And so I wanted to watch this. This is on News Nation, and it is Jodi Hildebrandt's niece says they experienced abuse too.
News
now
Nation.
Again, we watched a very long podcast a while ago. This is a much more recent one.
Hard to listen to. This has been a pattern of hers since, for 15 years at least, if not longer. I can't speak to what she did before me, but...
And again, that is so terrifying of a concept, that
because that's the only
someone
person
can be
that
doing
they
something
see,
like this
the one,
for a minimum
the face
of
of the
15
story,
years before something happens. How many times have we heard that Ruby Franke's kids were trying to get the police involved? And we're hearing from Jodi Hildebrandt's as well that the same thing. It's like, what has to happen for, officials to care, or the police to care, or,
I can imagine.
This is not new.
If it's not too difficult, can you share with me, what did you experience? What happened at the hands of your aunt?
Thing too is that people in the States, they don't take full accountability, right? They take... Sorry about my dog. I have a beagle, and he's obviously letting me know someone's out there. But my fiance's home. So anyways, they are pleading guilty, yes, but that is not a win. Pleading guilty just means they are trying to lessen their own sentence. It's always about looking out for themselves. They don't care. She doesn't give a shit if Ruby Franke's children heal. She doesn't care. She didn't care at all in the beginning. When this all started, all she wanted to do was to make sure that she didn't get caught. And when she did, now she wants to have all of this sympathy and compassion for the children. No, I don't buy it, bitch. Sit down. Or not Jodi Hildebrandt.
It's hard to
literally tried so many times
and,
to try to tell
everything that happened, because it was not just
nobody wanted to listen.
Physical abuse, but it was emotional and severe spiritual abuse as well.
People are begging,
because
begging.
The
young women,
culture that already exists within the Mormon church,
and people are turning a blind eye.
Took advantage, and
but the culture in Utah is a lot different than every other state.
There was
they have a high
duct taped
count of
and
Mormonism
starved,
out there,
and
the Mormons are very strict.
So
they might have thought, oh, she's just
isolated
crying wolf,
and
she's just freaking out or whatever, and just let it go. But at the same time, you have to take every case seriously,
being forced
because
to sleep
of
outside in
cases
the
like
snow.
this. Because if you don't,
telling my family
up
that it was because she
shoving
was
a case
afraid
to the
that I was
side
going
that
to
is
murder
serious
her
like this,
in her sleep,
and then look
telling
what
me
happened.
that Satan was working
Her
through me, and
struggling with
all
the
the
fact that
while
these
I
kids
believed
had
what she
people
was
step
telling
in,
me.
but nobody stepped in when she needed them. Not to say that, there's anything wrong with people stepping in for Ruby Franke's children, but you can tell that she is just appalled by the fact that when she tried, nobody wanted to help her.
It's hard to quantify and everything that happened, because it was not just physical abuse, but it was emotional and severe spiritual abuse as well, because of the culture that already exists within the Mormon church. She took advantage, and there was being duct taped and starved and being emotionally isolated.
See,
and
just like I said, and you
tortured, being forced to sleep outside in the snow, telling my family that it was because she was afraid that I was going to murder her in her sleep, telling me that Satan was working through me, and all the while I believed what she was telling me. She believed then, and I'm certain she believes now, that
oh my gosh,
this delusional
playing
idea
the victim,
that God is literally working through her,
play that little
and
fiddle,
that she
Jodi.
used this idea, and
That's awful.
She believed that she had these dreams to rationalize all of the mistreatment that she put me through. It's being locked in rooms, being, like I said, being duct taped, not allowing to have shoes, and if someone at church came up to me to speak to me, I wasn't allowed to speak to them. She has pulled me up, kicked my knees out from underneath me and pulled me upstairs,
awful.
dragged me downstairs. She
Not too difficult. Can you share with me, what did you experience? What happened at the hands of your aunt?
It's hard to quantify and everything that happened, because it was not just physical.
You experience what happened at the hands
Yeah.
Of the
When you're this woman and knowing that this is what the oven has done.
Yeah.
Also, this ideology of God working through someone. Ugh.
It really is. It really is.
It's a mental illness. It's so deranged. The same concept of Satan working through
Controlling.
someone. It's a way to villainize people, and it's a way of
Yeah.
it's a way of making yourself feel superior and justify your actions. So for Jodi, it's that delusional state of, oh well, I
Right.
can't abuse kids because Jesus wants me to save
Oh.
them. I need to get Satan out of them. No, you're just a child abuser. That's call a spade a spade.
car and made me lay down on the ground and drove me into the mountains and made me run for hours and hours and hours. She's it's been hearing the list of what she did to these children right before his I haven't been as involved in listening to this trial, because it's very difficult to have it reflected back to me. I went to the cops and they did nothing, because the cops in Utah, because this is not just a specific thing to her, Utah culture is permeated with Mormon culture and this idea of covering up and believing authority, and Jodi had everyone wrapped around her finger.
That's her manipulation.
That's also such an important thing as well that happens with these superiors, specifically within the church, or in Mormon. It's in cult.
This has been.
The cops didn't give a shit.
The cops told me after I didn't tell them everything because I was so afraid. Jodi had me believe that I was just ruining everyone's lives. That I ruined everyone's lives that I touched, that I came in contact with, that if anyone was my friend, if anyone loved me, if anyone felt sorry for me, that it was because I was manipulating them, that I was this masterful manipulator. And she would coach me on things to say, to go apologize to people, to tell them that I manipulated them if they had gone to our bishop, which is in Mormonism, that's like the pastor, with their concerns, and I would have to go house to house and write letters telling them that I had just manipulated them into feeling sorry for me. I was losing weight. I had horrific stomach problems. I was having immense sleep paralysis from stress. I mean, that's just like a couple of the physical things. She was forcing me to run like for hours and hours and hours, because her philosophy that she stood by was this idea, this obsession with confession, that if I would just confess to my sins, that I would be getting better. And because I was getting worse emotionally, that it was obviously that I wasn't confessing to everything. And her idea was that she was going to make it so uncomfortable that it would force the sin out, which is just torture. That's all it is.
It literally is just justifying it.
Yeah.
It's justifying it.
Oh, sorry.
The statement that her lawyer put out was a joke.
How do you
it was so patronizing, and it's a joke. She's still responsible for the choices that she made. And I think both
put
things
the blame
can
on
be true.
Jodi now and then act like she's innocent.
I think
because
Jodi
she too is just as guilty.
Has,
you know,
a lot of influence and a lot of power that people cannot understand unless they've experienced it.
And I can completely agree and sympathize, but if you're abusing your kids, then I think you're a horrible person as well. So I think that Ruby and Jodi are one and the same. And don't you worry, we're going to be getting to Ruby Frankie's journal entries, by the way. I'm working on it.
To say the least.
They're just very long, but like, you'll see.
She's very good
Jesse,
at isolating and manipulating.
I hear you,
Yes,
and I don't
which
mean
I
to
do
interrupt.
believe
I
she
do
was
want to
corrupted,
ask if
but I
you
also
could
believe,
address Jodi
she
directly.
needs
What
to
would
take
you say
full
to her?
accountability. Just two things can be true at the same time. Oh, this is the part. This is the part.
Yeah, I've thought about this for a long time, and I've done a couple other interviews, not today, but in the last few months, and they've asked similar questions, and it's kind of an impossible question to answer. But you did this to yourself. And honestly, 4 counts, that is nothing compared to what you deserve. And I hope that the sentencing is as harsh as they possibly can be. And you pleading guilty to this, it's just a chess move. It was just the better option for her. She's pleading.
Adam. Her home needs to be raided. I wish that Jesse could press charges. Bye, Adam. Well, that's the end of today's video. I really hope that you can take it into full seriousness and understand it. I really wanted to touch base on it because of the fact that I was in a bad way with my sister, who was very manipulative and controlled my life for a little while there. I got away, but you know, these poor babies, they could have died in the care of Jodi Hildebrandt, and what would happen then? She'd be on trial for a murder. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. So I will do everything within my power to post a video every day from here on out, and I'm really sorry again for the delay on that. Like I said, so many health issues as well as life happening, but I've got to start making a focus on my YouTube if I want it to be my career as well as my dream come true. So with that being said, thank you for watching, thank you for coming to my channel, and thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't yet, I hope that you do. And I promise you will have great content from here on out. But you know, there's a saying that we have on this channel, and I just want everybody to keep in mind that I don't want you going out there being assholes. And if you can't control yourself, we're gonna have to lock you up like Jodi. It's just, I'm sorry. I told you, I've had enough.